Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima and I am here checking out Butcher. Butcher is a platformer shooter that seems to be this weird combination of Doom, Soldat, and Abuse. If you remember that one. That one's a hell of a reference I don't think many people on this channel will get. Nevertheless, there is a lot to see. We can change a few things here. These all make a lot of sense. You can change a couple of the controls here, but you can't change your entire scheme, excuse me, but it's probably not that bad anyway. I wish you could turn off pressing LNR to self-destruct, because I've done that a couple of times. That's pretty bad of me. You can change your audio levels here, which is fine. You can turn on a CRT effect, but I find it to be surprisingly ugly, so I just keep it turned off for the most part. And you can turn off your decals and the ability to clear your blood and your gibs. I've got the contrast up pretty high, but as you can see, you can put it pretty damn low. Default's about 45, I keep it around 75. Because those little dudes down there are actually kind of hard to see. So, we can browse the levels we've done already, and you can see that there's 5 sets of levels and a boss, and I'm currently on the second level of the third area. This isn't a very long game. I have actually played this game before, so I've had a little bit of an advantage. So, game time, 46 minutes. Honestly, I've played about like 2 hours of this game overall, mostly on the first like 3 sets of levels, but still. I have a pretty good idea of what I'd say about this game if someone asked me about it, so we're pretty good to go. You can also change your save slot here to play a harder difficulty or something like that. There are a lot of difficulties in this game. Unfortunately, I can't actually start a new game, but there are some extra cool difficulties in there, like there's one that gives you 66% health, that's not the one I'm playing, and there's one that gives you 66 health and no pickups in the level, which is definitely not the one I'm playing. There's also a Wimp mode, which makes the game so easy, it's basically a walking simulator, but nonetheless, or to see continue game, hop straight into it. It's set up in a very Doom sort of setup. You go into a level and you have the weapons and I think the health you came in with, your health might get restored to full. I'm not entirely sure. But the idea is, you have to go kill people. And you kill people by using the left stick to aim and the right stick to fire. You start with just the one weapon, which is your base shotgun. But you do also have a couple of other weapons, like the assault rifle and the flamethrower. You do also get the other 2 weapons as the campaign goes on. And the whole idea is to get from the beginning of one level to the end of one level to the beginning of the next level, yada yada yada. There's no real story to it. Well, there is a story, there is a cutscene, but it doesn't really come into it in the actual plot. So, it really is just go have some fun shooting dudes, and shooting some dudes is really quite excellent. The weapons all have some fantastic sound effects. The amount of gore is unbelievable at times. Like, look at the amount of blood that I've sent spraying all over the place just with the few enemies killed. It's honestly quite ridiculous just how powerful you feel playing this game. Also, how weak you feel playing this game too. Like, even on the normal difficulty, which is the one, actually I'm playing on the hard difficulty, aren't I? So, even on the hard difficulty I'm playing on, it is very easy to die. Everything does a massive amount of damage. There are things in this game that can and will instant kill you if you aren't careful. So you do need to be on your toes at all times. And you do also need to be running around looking for pretty much every little piece of ammo and advantage you can get. Because as you can see here, I'm running pretty low on ammo on pretty much everything. And this happens constantly. Especially on the levels that don't actually have any pickups for you to get. It can get pretty silly pretty quick. But that's just part of the game's charm, really. The game itself is actually a ton of fun, though. You've got a bunch of different weapons, everything is nice and satisfying to use, and wow, I finished the level. And there were no secrets in it. I didn't think so. Didn't seem to see any secrets. But anyway, we'll continue on when the game decides it wants to load. It's a little slow on the loading sometimes, but nothing particularly too bad. There is also a glitch I found where I believe one of the military base levels actually crashes the game if you die in a specific section of it, which is kind of frustrating. Is there anything down here? Didn't think so. Yeah, thankfully the game's checkpoint... Well, it's not even checkpointing, really. The levels are short enough, and the levels are short enough, and the breaks in said levels quick enough, and just the overall duration of the level is short enough, that you don't really feel that frustrated having to replay through a level, which is great, because sometimes playing through levels in Doom would take ages because they were like 25-minute mazes to solve on their own, even if you knew what you were doing. So playing a game like this, where the most you'll have to spend going through a level that you've already beaten is something like 2 minutes, it's quite refreshing, actually. So how's the actual shooting? Well, as I said, the shooting itself is pretty good. Not amazing, but pretty good. There are some things that the game... Right, how am I supposed to get up there? I'm not entirely sure. I remember using the chainsaw being a particular thing that would help you boost off the ground, but I'll be damned if I remember how you do it. Nevertheless. The actual shooting itself is fine. You've got a fair few different kinds of guns, and they all hit pretty damn hard. And aiming with the right analog stick is very easy. This might actually be a problem for some people, because aiming with the right analog stick, it looks free at first, but whenever an enemy gets within your firing range, the game's aimer will lock to it. It is basically lock-on, and it is really, really, really strong lock-on. So it'll sit directly on top of the dude, and it will just stay there, which is kind of both a blessing and a curse, because it means that while it does mean that you can aim directly at the dude you want to without fail pretty much every time, with the analog stick on, say, both the Joy-Cons and the Pro Controllers being perfectly fine to aim at these dudes with. While both of these things are true, there are also things along the lines of your weapon accuracy being 100% accurate all the time. So it's not going to be like one of the harder first-person shooters where firing too many bullets at once would make you inaccurate. You're always going to be the same amount of accuracy every time, which might be a problem for some people. Right, now they want me to go back and get up there, do they? Get to that switch. Yeah, they're all going to drown, aren't they? Poor bastards. Oh, shit. So people who are fans of first-person shooters with weapons that have a massive amount of kick, and I mean kick in the physical sense, not in just the graphical sense. People who are fans of that might not enjoy Butcher as much as your other typical kind of shooter like this, right? Not a huge problem in the grand scheme of things, really, but for those of you people who are looking for more of a challenge, yes, you have to keep these bloody piranha away with the chainsaw. I remember this. For those of you who like your shooters with a bit more kick to them, you might not find this as satisfying as you first imagined. However, me personally, who's fine with this sort of weaponry, I'm having a blast. As I said before, it's delightfully gory, and being able to be this accurate means that in a game where you stand a lot of a chance of dying, it's a lot less frustrating when you die, because it's a lot more likely that it's going to be your mistake, rather than just your weapon being unbelievably inaccurate for some indiscernible reason. And I am perfectly fine with that, being someone who tends to make a lot of stupid mistakes. The less mistakes I can make, the better. And I'm gonna need to flamethrower off these bastards. Don't usually use the flamethrower, because I believe I can hurt myself with it. Graphically, the game is pretty damn good. The low resolution is something that might annoy some people, and there is one or two things that do work against it. Like, for example, with everything being so low resolution, most of the dudes you might end up fighting might only be like 3 or 4 pixels tall. tall, and that is a bit of a problem, I will admit, just because it can be pretty hard to see sometimes just what exactly you're trying to do. And that does suck. I will fully admit that does suck a fair bit. I missed a secret, that's unfortunate. But yeah, if you couldn't guess, there are secrets in the levels. Oh dear. I didn't want the flamethrower, but I used it anyway. Hey, there's a skull. Assault rifle. Let's do the extermination, shall we? I'm stuck here until they're all dead, which is interesting. But yeah, as I was saying, the game is a graphical powerhouse. It looks great. On top of the... Oh, wow. I'm at 2 health. If I get hit again, I'm dead. That is pretty much it, really. Get away from me, and I'm dead. Yeah, figured. I wonder if there's a secret over here. But yeah, it looks great. It runs really well, too, which is nice. You've got a lot of good performance going on here, right? You've got, like, full on 60 FPS. This game is definitely 60 FPS, and it holds it really well. I haven't noticed any frame rate drops or anything like that, so the entire game just remains smooth as butter the whole way through, which is... Ow! God, I wasn't paying attention there, and I paid for it. I lost half my health in 3 shots. But yeah, the game is really smooth, and it holds that smoothness the entirety of the way through. No matter how heavy it gets, it seems to just be absolutely fine performance-wise. Sounds pretty damn good as well. When are they going to open up the... Yep, there we go. I was wondering when they were going to open up the cages. But I need my flamethrower out, like right now. I need health. And I'm dead. Oh, who would have thought? Alright, let's try not to get absolutely hammered by one of those bloody dudes this time, alright? We can actually hide in here, but everybody will spawn around me, and I have to actually go out and get them more often than not, just because that's the way this game tends to work with its enemy spawns. Also, I'm going to run out of ammo if I stay here for too long, considering that they do drop ammo, but in order to get that ammo, you have to be relatively close to them, because the despawn time on ammo in this game is, well, it's not ridiculous, but it's still pretty damn short, even by regular Doom standards. So, you know, have fun with that. Have fun with trying to collect all this bloody ammo that they drop. You die. And as I said before, there are tons of secrets to go find. They have them hidden all throughout the levels, and there are different ways to get to all of them. Like you've got the like you've got like the usual set of walls that, well, not so much you can see through, but walls that are just, you know, you can walk through them without a problem. It just looks like you can't. And you've got all sorts of little things like that going on. There are some other things as well, like, for some reason, one of the secrets in the first level of this particular zone has you doing some absolutely crazy shit, like using your chainsaw as the equivalent of a rocket jump on a dead body. I don't even know how that works, but apparently it does. Pretty basic stuff like that, you know? I guess the only other real problem with it is the game's length. It really is only like an... If you're good at the game, you can probably get through it in like an hour. It's a really short game, and it's It's actually pretty fun to speedrun. The game does time you on it. No real sense of, there's no like par times or anything like in Doom to have, to help you accelerate. I imagine there's a way inside this cell somewhere that I'm just not seeing. Oh no, it's open, so I can actually go and get the secret skull, which is nice. Not actually entirely sure what those unlock, if they unlock anything, but not the biggest deal in the world. Let's go get that ammo. There we go. Nice and kitted up. Although usually in this game, when you've got a bunch of... when you've got an extermination room like that, yep, that's the end of the level right there. And everything blows up in glorious hellfire. It looks fantastic. How'd I do? Pretty decently, I reckon. So you get sent back here to the gate, and you get to go to the next set of levels, but I don't think I will be going to the next set of levels, because that was actually a pretty good demonstration right there. Sure, it would be nice if you're able to see the other two weapons at work, but really not that big a deal. You can select whatever level you want to play. Also, you can crush yourself using this elevator, which is also quite funny in and of itself. Splat. But yeah, Butcher is a fun little game. Great little... Look at that planet going in the background right there. That is a really nice little effect they got going on. But yeah, Butcher is great. I am a pretty big fan of it. I enjoy it. And while I think it's a little bit short and there are a couple of little itty-bitty problems here and there, it's really nothing major, and the game's really cheap. So I do fully recommend Butcher. I think it's a really fun game. This has been Blue Maxima, and I will see you all next time.